right, if you would, please rise. Our invocation will be presented by Reverend Joe and followed by the Pledge of Allegiance led by Commissioner Ball. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
Word of encouragement, and then I'll pray. Through the Lord's mercies, we are not consumed because his compassions fail not. They are new every morning. Great is your faithfulness. The Lord is my portion, says my soul. Therefore, I hope in him. Father God, we thank you so much, Lord, for this county in which we live in, this state in which we live in, God. Lord, we thank you for this wonderful day. And God, we ask for your abundant blessing upon the commissioners and all the decisions that they will be making, Lord, that affect our county. So bless this meeting and may your hand be upon it. And we ask these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
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 Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thanks, Jeff. Please be seated. Wayne, if you would start our meeting out for us, please.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, Commissioners. The first item on the agenda is the adoption of minutes. We have two sets of minutes to adopt. The first one is the October 27th, 2020 emergency special meeting.
Make a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion we adopt the October 7th, 2020 emergency special meeting for tropical storms as item.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. Motion passes. Yes, sir.
Mr. Chairman, the next one is the November 3rd, 2020 regular meeting minutes.
I make a motion. We
Got a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. All right.
Mr. Chairman, next is the action items that we will go through by department. The first one is administration. We have items BA1 through BA6 for administration. Just want to make a point of note on BA4 regarding the proclamation of state of local emergency termination for Hurricane Zeta. On the recommendation of Mr. Zach Hood, our EMA director, he recommends that we terminate that at 12 noon today. So just for the record for BA4, but staff is requesting approval for BA1 through BA6.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we adopt items BA1 through BA6 with a notation on BA4 that the declaration is going to be declared today at noon.
All right. We have a motion. Do we have a second?
second.
Motion and a second. All in favor? Aye.
Mr. Chairman, next is the budget and purchasing items. We have BE1 through BE12. Again, staff recommends approval of these budget and purchasing items.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion we adopt items BE1 through BE12 for budgeting and purchasing.
Second.
We got a motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. All right.
Mr. Chairman, next is the elected officials items. We have BJ1 and BJ2. Just for the record, BJ2, regarding the equitable sharing agreement and certification, we have received the form and all the addendums are attached, and you have those at your desk. Again, staff recommends approval of BJ1 and BJ2.
I make a motion. We approve items BJ1 and BJ2.
Have a second.
Second the motion.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. Yes, sir.
Mr. Chairman, next is the environmental management item. We have one item, BL1. This is for the Magnolia Landfill Financial Assurance. Staff also recommends approval of this item.
Chairman, I make a motion we approve item number BL1.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. Highway next.
Next, under highway, we have items BN1 through BN8. Again, staff recommends approval of these items, these 8 items.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we approve highway items BN1 through BN8.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. All right. Got personnel next.
Yes, sir. Mr. Chairman, we have personnel items BQ1 through BQ10. Staff recommends approval of these items as well.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
We have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, the last action item is planning and zoning BR1 related to the zoning election for Plan District 19. Staff recommends approval of BR1.
Chairman, I make a motion that we approve item number BR1.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, the next items are presentation items, and the first presentation is a very special presentation regarding Commissioner Frank Burt. And in the audience this morning, we have his family members, Mrs. Leanne Rayleigh, Mr. Jared Rayleigh, Tom and Nevia Burt, Terry Mood, and Mrs. Lily Clark are here this morning. Mr. Chairman, I'd like to read the proclamation that we have written for Commissioner Burt. And then if we could, we'd like to present that proclamation to the family. This is a resolution of the Baldwin County Commission in respect of the life and legacy of former Baldwin County Commissioner Frank Burt, Jr. Whereas it is with an overwhelming sense of loss that we mourn the death of former Baldwin County Commissioner Frank Burt, Jr. of Bay Minette, Alabama on Saturday, October 31st, 2020. And whereas Frank Burt, Jr. was born on July 24th, 1932 in Evergreen, Alabama, was a graduate of Baldwin County High School, class of 1950, and Auburn University, where he received a BS degree in pharmacy in 1961. And whereas Mr. Burt served in the United States Navy, attained the rank of third-class petty officer from 1950 to 54, serving on the West Coast and in the Pacific. And whereas Mr. Burt was a member of the First Baptist Church of Bay Minette, serving as teacher, Sunday school director, member, and chairman of the board of directors of deacons. And whereas Mr. Burt worked as a pharmacist at Stacy's Pharmacy in Bay Minette, Alabama until he retired in 1998, at which time he devoted all his time to his public duties. And whereas Mr. Burt was an advocate for the Baldwin County where he served on many occasions prior as chairman and vice chairman of the Baldwin County Commission, a member of the North Baldwin Chamber of Commerce, member of First Gulf Bank, member of the United States Selective Board, member of the Baldwin County Pharmaceutical Association, Shriner, Mason, member of the Rokai Honor Fraternity of Pharmacy, former member and president of Rural Water System, former member of the North Baldwin Hospital Board, and member of the Environmental and Energy and Land Use Steering Committee for the National Association of Counties, and member of the Watershed Management Advisory Committee for the National Association of Counties. And whereas throughout his life, Mr. Burt demonstrated his dedication and love for Baldwin County by his selfless public service to the citizens and the community. Whereas he is preceded in death by his beloved wife, Joyce Davis Burt, and left to cherish his memory are his loving family and friends. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Baldwin County Commission in regular session assembled that we recognize the many achievements and contributions of Mr. Burt and extend our heartfelt sympathy to his family and friends whose grief is shared by many. Be it resolved that a copy of this resolution be recorded in the official minutes of this honorable governing body and embodied as resolution number 2021-17 of the Baldwin County Commission be conveyed to the family of Mr. Burt in sincere gratitude for his distinguished years of public service to the citizens of Baldwin County, Alabama.
I'll say something. Sure. Is this thing ready? Okay. I guess what I would say is this recognition today kind of puts the gavel down on what Dad set out to do in 1988, which is to give something back to Baldwin County, which I think this supports that. So on behalf of the family, we do appreciate what the commission has done and this recognition today. And it's been a good ride for him for those 30 years. He loved it. Mother loved it. And we enjoyed watching a lot of that on the tapes there. So thanks again for all this.
And he did love this county and all the great citizens, and we thank you for this resolution.
As a fellow member who served with Commissioner Burt, we had our ups and downs at times, but, at the very end, we were good friends, and we got along, and I think we all had the same goal in mind, and Commissioner Burt was really good about what he did for this county. I know when I first met him, I was an employee of the county when he became county commissioner, and I was in the superintendent in Bay Minette area, and we had a lot of talks, and we went over a lot of things, and we got a lot accomplished, and it was Commissioner Burt done a lot for the citizens of this county. His true heart was with road and bridge. I guarantee you that. He was really, that was one of his main pet peeves. And also finance was his big thing, so, but anyway, you know, I miss him, and I know you all are going to too. Thank you.
I'll go ahead and say it down here. I was going to say it up there, but I'll say it down here. And I don't like having my back to you guys, so hopefully I'm on the mic. But, you know, it shows with him staying in this office for the amount of time that he was dedicated to Baldwin County. And, you know, there's a lot of people, and there's nothing wrong with moving on to other offices and things like that, but just his legacy here at Baldwin County shows that that's where his heart was. His heart was here in Baldwin County. And when I started, I had known him before, but nothing like when I was running for office. And he just instilled so much in me just during that time frame. I just hate that I'm not able to tap into that database that he has, because I remember times he'd tell me, now, Billy Joe, you don't need to be worrying about that. Or he'd say, now, Billy Joe, you need to look into that. So he just really cared about Baldwin County. And I'll say it again, I mean, his fingerprints, his thumbprints are all over this county. He's like, he will never not be here, as probably as long as any of us that knew him are still here. So thank you guys for being here today. So good to meet the rest of his family. And Lily, we love y'all. And we're thankful for what Frank Burt did for Baldwin County. Thank you.
Yeah, for me, my sentiments are the same as everybody else's. We've had these talks, I think, was it at the last meeting, and it's very humbling to be in the position that I'm in now. Commissioner Burt taught me a lot from when I was that high all the way up until where I'm at now, being my family pharmacist, all the way up to being a great friend, and then being a person that I had the privilege and honor to run a campaign against. And he was very, I think when we met for the first time and talked about our campaign, we shook hands and made an agreement of how it was going to be a friendship. And we had lunch not too long ago, and it'll be a lunch that I'll remember for the rest of my life, where he told me how proud he was of me, and he actually told me he prayed that I would win. So he was sounded like he was ready for a break. So that will be one of my lifelong memories. And thank y'all for sharing him with us. The county would not be in the position it's in today without Commissioner Frank Burt. So thank y'all.
Thanks, Jim. I concur with everything my colleagues have said, and Mr. Frank encouraged me to pursue this. I was on the Daphne City Council, and I'm going to say it again. I've shared it with y'all. I was sitting right over there. He was up here, and he said, now, Mr. Davis, do you have anything from the city of Daphne for Baldwin County? And I hand-delivered a check. It had to do with some roads and money and the city and the county, but we got it dealt with. And I vividly remember that, and I had occasion on a Tuesday before he passed on Saturday for us to kind of remember that meeting and that discussion. That means a lot to me. Everything that my colleagues have said times 10, because he is the epitome of public service through good times, bad times, tough times, some money, no money, but he made it happen. And to the family, y'all will always remember him as your family, but we remember him as part of the Baldwin County family as well. So thank y'all very much. Thank you for letting us have him as a county for that long. Okay.
I would like to say something.
Sure.
The day of the election, Frank and I prayed together that God's will reigns supreme. He said, if the Lord has something else for me to do, I'm ready to do it. But I sure do love serving Baldwin County.
Thank you. Oh, all right. Let's, y'all go up here and let her direct us to where she needs us.
Set her up for that side.
Yeah, right on.
Is that good?
And Mr. Chairman, staff does recommend approval of the resolution 2021-17 in commemoration of Commissioner Burt. So we recommend approval.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
I second it.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. Much deserved. Thank you all so much. Yes, sir.
Commissioner, the next item is a funding, this is regarding Alta Point Health. This is a funding award to Alta Point Health pilot program for a crisis center serving individuals with mental illness and substance abuse disorders in our area. And this morning we have Mr. Schlesinger, CEO of Alta Point Health, here to talk to the commission.
Good morning, Commissioners. It's hard to follow that. I was here many times while Commissioner Burt was up here, and anyway, it's very, very difficult to follow. We had a lot of fond memories working with him. I am here to tell you a little bit about a positive thing that's happened in our area. You may have heard the governor did a press conference maybe a couple of weeks ago saying that there was 3 mental health crisis centers that have been allocated to the state of Alabama. And one of those were in our region. And our region actually consists of about 7 counties. Mobile, Baldwin are those are the 2 main counties. Just between Mobile and Baldwin County, we take up about 90% of the patient populations. But we also have Washington County, Choctaw, Escambia, Conecuh, and Monroe counties. So what we've got here is a 24-hour, 365-day a week, 365-day a year operation that's housed just inside the Mobile County limits. We're looking for a location right now to be able to have it to where we can have quick access for the Baldwin County law enforcement to be able to go and drop off individuals who have a mental health or substance abuse crisis. So the Crisis Diversion Center will employ 90 individuals who will be specialized in the areas of psychiatric care, mostly mental health, substance abuse care. We'll have primary care physicians in this facility. We'll have a psychiatrist in the facility and so forth to be able to take care of any kind of emergencies that walk in. The Crisis Diversion Center will allow individuals to come in crisis by walking in. They can be transported by families. They can be transported by a mobile crisis team or by law enforcement to be able to come in and have an assessment. And now this is something that we haven't had before. You know, CERC closed, as you remember, many, many years ago. And we've had many parts of the continuum that we as a mental health provider have tried to put together. Baldwin County Mental Health and Alta Point merged some maybe back in 2015. And we've been working together to put together a continuum of care to be able to take care of vulnerable populations. But that has not helped as much in some of the areas like the law enforcement. Our police departments through the municipalities and our sheriff's officers are picking up people who are mentally ill, and they have no place to take them. They're taking them to the emergency departments of the hospitals if they can, but more than likely, they're ending up in jail. This is a crisis center that is really meant for them to be able to do an assessment through our assessment people at our crisis center to decide whether or not we would keep them there. In the crisis center, we're going to have 3 sections. We have what's called a urgent care section, and that's, like I said, for people to walk in. But we'll also have 15 mental health beds for people to come in for only 23 hours. So we'll bring them in for up to 23 hours and stabilize them, find out where they need to be, and then move them out into that next part of the continuum of care. As you know, Alta Point, your mental health center has about 1,700 employees. We have 2 hospitals. We have a children's hospital at Bay Point and an adult hospital at East Point Hospital, which is in Daphne. And we have all different levels of the continuum of care. We have 1,000 residential beds that are out in the community. So you have the hospital level and you have the residential level. You have intensive outpatient levels. We have crisis centers already that are set up for longer lengths of stay. So our idea is to bring somebody into this either the urgent care or the 23-hour care and stabilize them and move them to another level within that 23 hours. So this is something that we've not had before, and it's something that we're very excited. Haas-Mack knows about this quite a bit, as well as Judge Doleve, and so we've been working with them. Got letters of support from many of you. We've got letters of support from them in order for us to get this. So we are excited about bringing that to Baldwin County. One of the areas that we are concerned about, we do have and have had since 2016 an assisted outpatient treatment grant. And I've talked to some of you about this, but it's something that we had gotten in 2016. It was a $600,000 grant, and it was to put out a mobile crisis team in Baldwin County to be able to help track people who are high risk individuals who really don't necessarily meet the criteria to be in an inpatient facility. They're not in jail, they're not in a hospital, they're actually in the community, but they're high risk. And many of you know the kind of problems that we have with high risk individuals who are mentally unstable. The problem is medicine does work, but many of them don't want to use medicine. And so we put these teams in place with Judge Doleve to where if they were under an outpatient commitment, we would be able to follow them and track them and make sure that they don't get into a bad situation where they're going to either hurt themselves or someone else. That grant ran out in September. It's a $600,000 grant. We know that we can put that back in place for about $250,000 by leveraging some of the other money that went into this crisis center. So we are going to be kind of coming back and talking with you maybe individually and meeting with you and letting you understand what the need is of this assistant outpatient treatment program that has been exhausted. Judge Doleve has stated that he is 100% behind it, and I know the sheriff is 100% behind putting this and keeping this in place for those individuals who are in Baldwin County. You know, with this fast-growing county, we have just constantly seen the increase of needs for more and more mental health care, and these are a couple of ways that we've been able to address this. So I am certainly available to answer any of your questions or concerns that you have around these two different programs, if you have any.
I see where this is a pilot program that the governor started on it.
It is, Commissioner. It is. There is 3 of them that they allotted into Alabama, and there's 19 mental health providers in the state. We all applied for this, and they gave them to 3. They gave them to Huntsville, Montgomery, and Mobile. And in Mobile, they were very excited to give it to us. They said that we have quite an extensive continuum of care already in place. Mm-hmm. This was that missing piece. And so we have this. It's a $7 million grant. It's not actually, it's going to turn into a regular contract. And the entire $7 million for each of those 3 areas was allotted by our legislature. And so our legislative delegation actually gets the credit for putting that into and keeping that in the budget.
The reason I asked, most of the stuff, with mental health, they start a program, then they drop it, and then it's left, for them to try to find funding somewhere on us, I hate to see them get a start program up and then drop it. And it'd be a good program, and then they got to worry about trying to find money now again, and this, and the state is good about that.
Right, and I do believe this program will stay in place.
Good.
It's put in place to stay in place. We've actually visited these crisis centers in Oklahoma and Texas, Arizona, and in Georgia. And these are the attempts to help these states deal with those constant law enforcement and emergency department, emergency room problems that we're having with mentally ill people not having a place to go. So I believe it'll stay in place. Now, the other grant, the assistant outpatient treatment, that was a SAMHSA grant. It was only for a couple of years, and that did run out. And it was one of those grants where we put it in place, and it's something that we don't feel like we can do without in Baldwin County. So we'll work on putting that in place.
Okay, appreciate it.
Well, this is good news, and I hope that this program is successful so that it can be expanded, because we know that there's more than 3 places that need it.
Oh, yeah. Birmingham didn't get it, and they are squealing.
I bet they are.
So,
Thank you.
all right, thank you all.
I was just going to say this, just working in the field myself for the past 23 years, this is something that, like you said, talking with the sheriff and Judge Doley, we know that mental health within itself is a problem. Substance abuse is another problem. But
That's right.
if you don't address the mental aspect of it, substance abuse isn't the main problem.
That's right.
And we know that jails are not a place to house mental health patients. And I hope this works out, because this is going to be a blessing for not only Baldwin County, but Mobile County. And I hope, I don't know about the other grant. Have you talked with the state legislators to see if there's a way to get that back?
I haven't. I think we're getting ready to start looking at how we can do this. We've mentioned it to a couple of legislators, and we've mentioned it to a couple of county employees, and to the judge. Judge and I had lunch a couple of weeks ago and discussed how can we come back and approach getting this outpatient treatment grant back in place. That grant really helped keep people out of the jails.
Right.
Who were not being picked up by the sheriffs constantly, but were able to maintain them ahead of time and keep them out of jails and out of the emergency departments of these hospitals.
Right. Well, thank you so much for pursuing this and following up on that. And this, I mean, like you said, out of those many choices, I'm honored to have this area been chosen for that. That's great news for the people that's watching this broadcast. You don't know how huge that is for this county. So thank you so much.
Great.
We'll assist in any way.
Great. Thank you very much.
Turk, thank you very much. With the census that'll come out, it's very likely that we'll become the 4th largest county population-wise, and we will then join Mobile as 2 of the 4 largest counties in the state. And it's certainly indicative that we ask the questions and pursue the things that are needed of all of our citizens and anybody that has difficulty in the mental arena. Y'all do a great job. And if you would, keep us posted, keep us in the informational loop, and periodically give us updates. And of course, call on us when we can be of help.
Great. We will. Thank you
All right.
very much for your
Thank you.
comments. Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, the next item is another, it's a proclamation. This is proclaiming the Day of Thanks for 2020. We have a proclamation to read, Mr. Chairman, if you don't mind.
Certainly.
This is a proclamation of the Baldwin County Commission proclaiming November 17th, 2020 as a Day of Thanks in Baldwin County, Alabama. Whereas Baldwin County, Alabama was established on December 21st, 1809 by the Mississippi Territorial Legislature and now is part of the great state of Alabama. And whereas the Baldwin County remains the largest county in land size in the state and currently is one of the largest and fastest growing counties with over 200,000 residents and is visited by millions of tourists each year. And whereas Baldwin County generates one of the highest shares of revenue for the state of Alabama. Whereas Baldwin County is located on the Gulf of Mexico and the Mobile River Delta is a large part of its attraction and tremendous prosperity. Whereas with all of our abundant blessings, it is only fitting that we set aside a day to reflect upon the county's prosperity. Now therefore, be it proclaimed by the Baldwin County Commission in regular session assembled that we hereby set aside November 17, 2020 as a countywide Day of Thanks to acknowledge and reflect upon the great achievements, blessings, and growing prosperity of Baldwin County, Alabama.
Thank you, sir.
Staff recommends that proclamation be adopted, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we adopt this proclamation, item CA3.
Got a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Unanimous. Thank you, sir. If I could, Mr. Administrator, it's 9 o'clock, and I need to pass the gavel over to Vice Chairman Ball. I need to attend a Restore Council meeting. 4 elected officials from Mobile, 4 from Baldwin County, and 2 from the state. This is dealing with the BP impact and funding going forward. This is the first time we've had a meeting in considerable time, face-to-face, and we'll be at Five Rivers. So I need to step out. The business that will be conducted on here does not mean that I don't think it's important, but I can't be two places at once. So Jeb will handle the rest of the meeting, and I thank you all for being here, and I thank you for what you do for Baldwin County. Jeb, this is yours.
Vice Chairman Ball, we have one more presentation this morning. That is regarding the Dream Center, and Pastor Joe Aldretti is here to make a presentation on the Dream Center.
Thanks.
Vice Chairman.
Hey, Pastor.
Thank you, Commissioners. Yesterday, I presented an in-depth version of the Dream Center, and as we see our county growing and the needs growing, the Dream Center services ages 13 to 19 years of age. As funding is cut in the state and programs are slim to none for our youth, our judges in the courts have no programs to send the youth to. So we have come up with a program called the Dream Center, and it's designed to incorporate school services, community partnerships, community resources, and a wraparound setting to positively impact and eliminate some of the socioeconomic barriers that prevent students and their families from achieving success in academics and in the community. Our volunteers that we're going to be having working are going to be vetted through state and federal background checks. We're going to be offering family and individual therapy from trained licensed therapists. We're going to offer conflict resolution, anger management classes, along with life skills, financial planning, and workforce development as well. We host a chapter of Teen and On for Baldwin County, which is comparable to AA and NA for adults. It's just that you can't put kids in adult programs, so they have a program for the youth. This program is an 8-step program designed for teens returning from rehab. We also offer an accredited drug education program through the Foundation for a Drug-Free World. And the program includes, why drug education is necessary, our drug culture, why people take drugs, how drugs work, and how they affect your mind. It explores the most commonly used drugs among teens and the effects that it has on their life. It also emphasizes putting the program to use. We'll also be offering a food pantry for the kids, a clothes closet, which we'll partner with Walmart, Nike, other clothing stores. It's amazing what happens when a young person gets a new pair of shoes and now all of a sudden they fit in, or new clothes. A lot of kids can't even afford shoes or new clothes. The facility will also have washing machines and things like that kids can wash clothes, because there are kids in Baldwin County that don't even have power or water in the homes in which they live. So we'll have that as well. We have a website. You can go to it and get an in-depth look at the program. You can look at who's on the board of this. It's a 501c3. The Dream Center, baldwincounty.com. You can also make donations there. Funding and programs seem to be programs come and programs go, but been working with the youth here in Baldwin County for over 8 years. I wanted to establish a program that's going to stay, that's going to work, and that's going to make a difference in our county. And so I'm here this morning to present the Dream Center of Baldwin County to the County Commission and to Baldwin County, those who are watching online, on TV this morning. If you want to get involved, there's numbers there on the website you can call, and email addresses and things like that. And so if you have any questions for me, Commissioners.
Y'all have any questions?
I'd just like to say thank you for coming up presenting this morning. There are a lot of troubled people out there, children and stuff, that in that age group that need a little extra help. And having this available will make it better for those in the future, I hope, hopefully. And
thank you, Commissioner. And we do have a facility already. And we have a facility already. So we're ready to go. And hopefully January 1, 2021, it'll be full.
Okay, thank you so much for, I know you presented the longer version to us yesterday in the work session, and it's very exciting to hear, and also your dedication to wanting to see this take place. And I know I met you a few years ago, and I'm just excited to see all the things that you're doing to help Baldwin County. It's such a pleasure to see people who move here from somewhere else, especially from California, isn't that right? And to be able to be proud of people that come here from California. I can't always say that I'm always proud of people that come here from California. But you're one of those people, and you've been very active, and I know that you help with the chaplain at the jail, and you're a pastor in the community, and I'm just so excited about this opportunity because there is a need, and the more people that come to Baldwin County, the more help we're going to need. And so it's nice to see someone who wants to give back that comes here. I will say that there's a lot of people that probably come here that think this is, I mean, Joe ain't here, but I'll have to go say he says this is paradise. They come here because they think this is paradise, and then they get a hurricane. They're like, I don't know if I want to be here no more. But you know what? It is what it is, because we that are from here, we've been through that kind of stuff. But thank you again. I know I kind of got off track with that, but thank you, Pastor. Thank you so much.
Also, this Thanksgiving, we're partnering with the city of Foley. We're serving 600 meals to the seniors and those within the area. So that'll be on Thanksgiving Day from 11:30 to 1. So we'll have a drive up. They can get their meal and go, or they can go sit in the Civic Center, social distancing. The seniors can. So the city of Foley is very excited about that.
And thank you so much for spearheading these kind of efforts, because it feels like to me, I know we just did a proclamation saying Day of Thanks, but I want to go ahead and just say this. We are like skipping Thanksgiving this year. So many people, not me, not my family. I mean, we're going to do, if anybody's sick, we told them to stay home. But, it's so important. It is so important because it's part of what our country, our nation was founded on, was that day of the Thanksgiving, and that, our nation has set that aside. And so thank you for helping. And there are always people out there who need somebody because they don't have all the family that other people do. But thank you again.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Pastor.
You're welcome.
Wayne?
Chairman Ball, we have one more presentation. Mrs. Terry Graham with Solid Waste is here, and to make a presentation with Crowder Golf regarding the debris cleanup.
Welcome.
Good morning. I'm going to make this short and sweet. Y'all have gotten to hear me talk about debris for months now. So I'm going to turn it over to our contractor, Crowder Golf. I'm going to let them explain their process, where they think we're at, how we're doing. We're coming up on finishing up that first pass, so I thought it was a good time to bring them in and let them talk for a little bit. So, and this is Mr. Reed Loper.
Thank you, Terry. Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
Thank you for having us. Appreciate your time. I do have a handout that I'd like to approach and give to you guys so you can follow along with some of the numbers I'll be stating.
If you don't mind, Reed, would you give one to those ladies up there too?
As Terry said, I'm Reed Loper, Crowder Golf, Vice President of Crowder Golf. With me here today, as well as Ashley Ramsey Nell, President of Crowder Golf, and Sam Roberts. He's our senior project manager over Baldwin County for the debris removal efforts. So what I just handed out to you guys, you will see that for Hurricane Sally, through close of business of November 15th, we have removed 2,735,000 cubic yards of debris. And to put that into perspective, over a 6-month period for Hurricane Ivan, approximately 2.6 million cubic yards were removed in total for that response. So in 50 days of operation, we have already removed more than what Hurricane Ivan produced. As you will see, we've removed 55,000 loads of debris so far, with an average daily production of 54,000 cubic yards removed off the ROW per day. The graph you see there on the right-hand side, you'll see there's only been 2 days of no operations. That was due to Hurricane Delta and to Hurricane Zeta that moved through, so we had to stand down for those 2 days due to inclement weather. Hazardous hanging limbs and hazardous tree removal. We've removed over 42,000 hazardous limbs and trees so far off the ROW, and we're estimating to be about 90% complete with first pass operations, with first pass commencing at the end of November. We feel we'll be done with that. There are some locations that have already had multiple passes performed. That's mostly due to extenuating circumstances, mostly safety concerns. Overall, we project we're about 65% complete with the overall debris removal efforts here in Baldwin County. One notable thing I did want to show you guys was the comparison to a Category 4 hurricane, Hurricane Laura that hit earlier this year over in Louisiana. Crowder Gulf also has the city of Lake Charles and Calcasieu Parish over there. In the graphs below, you'll see that in the first 30 days, Baldwin County actually exceeded the debris removal volumes more so than a Category 4 storm. And they're also we're right in line with what's been removed in the first 50 days on a Category 4. So what I wanted to show there is that, be it that Sally was a Category 2 storm, it's presenting itself much more as a Category 4 in the level of debris and the volumes. So that's something to take note for sure. We got hit hard. So that's pretty much the rundown of where we're at currently with debris removal efforts. Are there any questions for me at this time?
Commissioners, y'all have any questions?
I just like to say, I know y'all been hard at it. I'll get called and say, well, look, they're coming. Just hold on. I said, there's a lot of debris out there, and I try to explain to them, that we're not going to jump around here and there. We're working. The county has been sectored off by Crowder Gulf. Has got a system. They sectored it off, and they're working in sectors, and that makes it a whole lot easier for them to keep track of it instead of just, well, I'm gonna run over here and we'll pick this up and run over here and run over here. It's counterproductive trying to do that. If you get into sector, get it done and get back out, you're making a whole lot better progress. I know there's still a lot of debris out there. There's some areas, like you said, that still haven't been had the first pass yet. But I really and truly believe that you're gonna probably go over 3 million cubic yards in the first pass. That's unheard of, for really. I mean, and I compare this thing as far as debris wise. I compare this thing to like Hurricane Frederick as far as debris wise. Hurricane Frederick was a Category 4. It's a Category 2, but this Category 2 stayed here and stayed here and stayed here and stayed here. Sally came, but she didn't want to leave. but it finally left and left a lot of devastation. And it's like I say, y'all picked up a lot, but there's a lot more still after they come. So
Yes,
it's going to take us a while to get it all cleaned up. I know y'all have been working strictly a lot of it on the vegetative and some of the other construction debris, but that's a lot of debris.
Tremendous amount.
Yeah.
I mean, it appears to me from, trying to remember Frederick and photos from Frederick. I was 12 when Frederick hit. Yes, I don't think it's a secret that my family are pecan growers, and this was been a bad one. And you guys make the record straight. Crowder Gulf and the people don't pick up pecan growers. We have to do our own debris and burn it through the USDA. Probably shouldn't have said the word burn. I'm probably going to get a lot of negative stuff, but it is the way it is. But it just amazes me because even all that debris is not even included in your figures. And there are so many farmers that have been affected as well. But you guys are doing a great job. I appreciate the team that's assembled, Terry and your girls, and probably some guys too, but they've been excellent with me. And you guys know, I'm sure all the rest of the commissioners are getting the same stuff. We get people who are like, well, I haven't even been on my road one time, and so we're trying to, and they have addressed some of that very well, because some of these things are situations that the people who live there deem it to be hazardous. They may be narrow roads, people are piling it high. But I just want to send out a message to the people of Baldwin County. Please be patient. It will happen.
It will be over with. We will be cleaned up again one day. And I was talking to my husband, and he had talked to Tony Holmes, who owns Holmes Pecan, that comes down here from Covington County every year to buy pecans. I don't guess he'd be buying many this year. But he said that a couple years after Frederick, it seems like it did just a great pruning job on the area. And man, it just blossomed again. So I cannot wait for this time to pass. I know people have been saying 2020 get over with. And then we will see Baldwin County looking green and beautiful again. And there's just, I'm excited about the future. But thank you. I know I rambled a little bit, but that's just me. When I go down to the landfill and see these mountains and just rows, it's like you've just created a whole little village in there of debris. Probably the first time Terry's heard that. She can have her own little debris maze. Maybe we could charge an admission for that. But anyhow, thank you again.
Thank you. Thanks, Reed, for what y'all are doing. It's unprecedented what's happening, and I think for some people, 50 days feels like 50 years. So it's a waiting process. I explained this to an individual the other day of how large our county is, square mileage wise, and there was devastation not only at the beach but all the way down here as well. So y'all are picking up as fast as you can. It's going as planned. We're dealing with some issues. We got a lot of people that now are like clearing out properties and adding to y'all stacks, and I'm working with Terry, we're trying to put stops to that kind of stuff. So other than that, this has been a great effort, and I think all of us were privileged to go down and kind of observe what y'all did before we got into office with Hurricane Michael. And not having seen that, I wouldn't have not understood what y'all do and the magnitude of what y'all do to serve us as a county. And if there's anything that y'all need, you know how to get in touch with us. And just thank you for making this a good team effort and working with Terry and just getting this stuff up, as fast as you can. And I think 2.7 million yards in 50 days is pretty good. So
it's a big
thank
number.
y'all so much.
Thank you. And I do want to state that the reason these type of numbers are even possible is because of how well of a county this county's ran. We work all over the nation, and this is by far one of the best ran counties that we've had the pleasure to work with. And that's from y'all's leadership all the way down to the staff and the county employees. So thank you, and that means a lot as a lifelong resident here.
Thank you. That means a lot to us because they're our lifeblood.
So,
Thanks,
y'all.
Reed. Thank y'all.
I just want him to touch too a little bit. Stumps have been a big question, so I felt like while he's here, he could address the stumps and how that process is going to work too. I mean, we're not quite there yet, but they've been asking me a lot about that.
No problem. Yes, the stumps, those utilize separate pieces of equipment than the self-loader trucks that you see running through picking up the piles of debris. We have started some of the stump removal processes, so you will start seeing the stumps disappearing from the rights of way. So we have some of the specialized self-loaders that are able to lift those heavier stumps, and then some of them will be picked up with wheel loaders and go on flatbeds, some of the real big ones. So that process has started. So
Thank you.
Thank you.
thank you.
Next.
Mr. Vice Chairman, next is the payment of the bills.
Do you need one of?
I'm going to make the recommendation. You can make the motion. Staff recommendation is to pay bills totaling $6,260,982.03, with the exception of those vendors or commissioners to be pulled, which are listed in the Baldwin County accounts payable payments. We have none. Of this amount, $93.31 is payable to the Baldwin County Board of Education, and $45,331.43 is payable to the Gulf Shores Board of Education for their portion of the county's sales and use tax. And I need to entertain a motion.
I make that motion?
I'll second the motion.
All right, we have a motion and second. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 Mr. Vice Chairman, next is the notification of interim payments approved by the clerk treasurer as allowed under policy 8.1. And the staff recommendation is to make the attached interim payments made by the clerk treasurer totaling $2,739,780.77, and make that part of the minutes. Mr. Chairman, that requires no action.
All right, thanks. Next.
Mr. Chairman, next is the, we had a discussion item for the work session that does not require action today. We will bring that back at a subsequent meeting of the County Commission to discuss further and bring something back for adoption at that time, but today there's no action required.
All right. So we're on to commissioner requests?
Yes, sir. Commissioner requests are next.
Y'all have any commissioner requests?
Not at this time.
All right. Any addenda?
No, sir. No addendums.
Administrative report?
Mr. Chairman, I had just one comment. In commemoration of Commissioner Burt, I just want to say that I came to the county in 2000. As you all know, born and raised in Foley, Alabama. Very proud of that. My family has been in this county for a long, long time, many, many generations, and I'm very thankful that I was able to come back to the county to work in 2000. Commissioner Burt was on the commission at that time, which made that possible. I've not forgotten that, and I've always been very proud of the fact that I was allowed to work for the county commission, and he was a part of that when I came on board, and I very much appreciate that, and again, very sad of his passing.
Thank you. County Attorney?
No report, Mr. Vice Chairman.
Great to hear. Is there anybody from the public that would like to make a comment? Any press questions? Commissioner comments?
Again, I want to thank the employees for, what they do, getting us to where we're at today with, the agenda and everything else, getting that. And also, again, I'd like to, just say, that Commissioner Burt was, a true leader for this county, and he will not be forgotten from years now. He got a lot accomplished while he was in office, and I think, that his legacy will continue for many, many years. So I just want to, thank his family for being here this morning and sharing him with us one more time with that. And I just want to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving, and let's not forget about Thanksgiving, like Commissioner Underwood said. I think we're trying to put a lot more into a lot of stuff. I know COVID is a very dangerous and virus. It can make you deathly sick, and also worse, it can you can die from it. But I think that's a day that we all need to still get together and praise the good Lord and take care of what we're supposed to do in this country. Thank you.
I also want to elaborate a little bit more about Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving is a week from Thursday, and I want everybody to be safe, and I want you to use personal responsibility. But if you have family that you can gather and you can at least be together for Thanksgiving this year, I think that I was talking to my siblings. I have 2 sisters and a brother, and this past weekend I traveled, and one day we left my house at 4 a.m. on Saturday morning and returned at 10:22 Saturday night. We all 4, including my sister-in-law, so it's 5 of us, flew to Columbus, Ohio to go to a graveside funeral for my last living aunt. And we were talking about how that people are skipping Thanksgiving. And we were like, we could have said we can't do this because of COVID and all, but we all knew our own personal health. We knew that we were well. We knew we weren't having symptoms. We did what we were supposed to do. We followed the CDC guidelines. You fly on airlines, you got to. So, but I just wanted to say that we took a trip, traveled over about 2,000 miles in 18 hours. And it just all fell in place because it was meant to be. I didn't get to spend but 30 minutes with my cousins who live there, but it was meant to be. And I hope that you guys will make an effort to gather with family and friends or both. And if you don't have anybody, find somebody to help you celebrate that day with, because it's so important to our nation. You know, the Pilgrims gave thanks for surviving that cold winter, and we still serve some of the same food that they used back then: mashed potatoes, cranberry. I'm thinking turkey, you know. I think my folks are going to do the cooking for me. But I also mentioned to my family this morning, I called one of my sisters and I said, you know, we haven't had a photo. And I said, whoever's there, I don't care if we're missing a few. I said, we've all got cell phones, we've got everything. I said, this thing takes better pictures than that $2,000 Canon I had to have one time. I think that's what it was. My husband, I'll never hear the end of it. Don't even work anymore. But take a photo of your family and be thankful for all that we survived, because we were talking with my family about how that we haven't lived through a time frame in our lives where we've been under such oppression as some other generations have been under. And we have so much to be thankful for. We've just been inconvenienced this year, but we are still blessed and thankful. And I just want to pass that on. And one more thing. We lost another great person from Baldwin County this past week. Mr. Blackman is how I knew him, but it was Danny Blackman. And I was able to attend his funeral service this past Sunday, and I learned even more about him. And we're going to miss him because he was such a great historian for Baldwin County. He was, I'll go ahead and say it again because it might be the last time I ever say this in an open meeting, but he was my 7th, 8th, and 9th grade history teacher. He taught at Summerdale School. His wife told me all but 2 years, and that was my school that I went to. And that was a small school at that point in time where the teachers rotated around it was called junior high back then. So you had the same history teacher for all 3 years. And Mr. Blackman had a teaching method at that time that worked. It worked for me and it worked for almost everybody. And you could go at your own pace. And he had these ways of memorizing all the things like the preamblum and the Gettysburg Address. And because of his teaching methods, I can still recite some of those things. Now, Schoolhouse Rock helped too. But it was such a, and then if you finished, you could go at your own pace. And if you finished, he would give you special projects. And I didn't become a history teacher, but he did instill within me the love for history. And my family members that know me know that when we go places, I love to go to places of historical significance in the United States, because American history was, I believe, his passion, especially from listening to his people talk at his funeral. So again, I'll say this, that when someone with the knowledge of someone like Mr. Burt Blackman and also Mr. Frank Burt, both got Burt in their names, isn't it? When they pass away, there's so much knowledge up there that it's like a whole library burning down. That database is gone. And so for those of us that got to know both of those and got to tap into a little bit of that knowledge, I am so thankful and so blessed. And I appreciate the opportunity to share this. And I hope someone gets to hear some of this that we say, because these are some great people that were Baldwin County. And I know Mr. Blackman and Mr. Burt may have been born in another county from what I remember reading, but this was where they chose to spend the majority of their lives. Thank you.
Thank you. So I echo what my colleagues say about those two great men. We have last meeting talked a lot about Commissioner Byrd, and I don't think we'll ever quit talking about Commissioner Byrd as long as we're sitting up here. So his legacy will always live through us up here, as well as Mr. Blackman. I'm going to miss him coming up to that podium right there and spending about an hour and a half of our time actually getting us into historical aspects and putting us in the situation instead of just listening to somebody talk. That man knew his history, and like we saw at the funeral that day, you know, he's probably up there correcting somebody in heaven on one of those wars or something, telling them how it really happened. So I thought that was a pretty funny thing that was said at that funeral. But it's right. He is probably up there wrestling with somebody right now saying, "No, you don't know. That's not the way it happened." And so he is going to be greatly missed, and I think we've got something coming at a later meeting for him. I wanted to do something different with my commissioner comment section today too, and I wanted to put one of my staff members on the spot today, and I want Miss Felicia to come up here and tell us just a little something about how Old Time Days went. Because, come on, Miss Felicia. Come on, because Miss Felicia, I don't know if the county came out to Old Times Day this past weekend, and her office and staff, between her and the staff that we have with the Parks Department with Madison, I have never seen an event pulled off like what was pulled off in the middle of a pandemic, and the way that she pulled this off. And I think Felicia, she was tired and she took a stance and we made something happen. And I would like for you to share with the public just a little bit of kind of what happened on that day.
Good morning. You did put me on the spot after I'm emotional talking about Mr. Blackman. But first, I want to thank you, the commission, and Wayne, for your support, because we could not do anything without your support. I also want to thank the public, because they came out and really made Old Time Days a great success. I'm emotional because I often think of Mr. Burt not being there, because it was his plan. But God gets the glory in everything that we do. In the midst of a pandemic, it was a bit scary to plan this event, but these types of events are important to our community. Our history, our legacy, our heritage is what we are. The history of Bicentennial Park goes far beyond what people may imagine. It's the home of one of the first sawmills built in the state of Alabama, the Kennedy Sawmill. So this is why we put on these types of events. These events are not only family friendly and fun, but they are educational as well. The record appears to show that we had about 1,800 in attendance between 9 and 4 o'clock. That was absolutely amazing. We did our best to exercise these social distancing plans, but everyone had a great time. I want to thank all of the vendors, the exhibitors, the spectators, Wayne, Commissioner Ball, all of the Baldwin County Commission administrative departments. They worked tirelessly with us. Many people talk about the beauty of Bicentennial Park. I cannot take any credit for that. I just have the pleasure of working there, but our Parks Department, Madison and his group, they are absolutely amazing. And the thing that I love most about working at Baldwin County Commission is how well we all work together. Working together really does work. So again, just thank you all for your support.
Thanks, Felicia. I told you I'd get you back. She put me on the spot at Old Time Days, so she just stuck a microphone in my hand and told me to get going, so today was her day.
Can I say one more thing?
Yeah, I'm gonna let Commissioner say one thing.
I so hate that I missed it, that my aunt passed away, and I would have been there because I really wanted to be there, and especially hear the Chastains. But I wanted to point out that Baldwin County now has the Baldwin County Historic Tour app available for iPhone, Apple, and Android. It's free, and Bicentennial Park is one of the ones on the tour because it's North Baldwin area, and I just love this. When you go to each little aspect of the park, there's a little video, a little like 30-second video that plays. And so those of you, I know there's people out there that still have cable and they watch this. Please, if you have not visited North Baldwin County, download this app. It is the Baldwin County Historic Tours app, and it is free, and it is a very nicely developed app. And Felicia, your department was big and instrumental in helping get this accomplished. But I've learned more just from you guys, and I've lived in Baldwin County my whole life. But because we live down in the south part of Baldwin County, we don't always get up to the north part of Baldwin County. And I tell you guys all the time, it's kind of like it's hidden up here. Be careful what you wish for, but at the same time, for anybody that's in Baldwin County and you want, because of COVID, maybe you might not have places to go, download this app and take this driving tour. Now, keep in mind, some of these places in between, you might not have good cell service, so be sure you map out your plan. But at Bicentennial Park, this is a great tool for the people to use. Thanks for listening to me.
I will say, Commissioner, I was going to say Chairman, I'm sorry, Commissioner Underwood. We did bring up the historic app at the event, and one of the special attractions was a historic hayride, giving a tour of the park. So we were able to exercise the Historic Tours app. So we were very excited about that. So we had many people coming up asking, hey, help me find this app. So that was a huge success as well. So thank you again to Wayne, Sherry Lee, our CIS and GIS departments for that app.
And one note, I've met somebody that lives in Baldwin County that had no idea that the park was there.
Right.
And I think they found it on our website or something, but they found out, they saw the little banners of old time. They went and they said, we had no idea that this even existed. And they said they would come back, bring other people back to show them and come to more events down this way. So thank you so much, Felicia. So another thing that I just wanted to make note of, I think here happening in Bay Minette this Thursday night, if anybody wants to come and attend, we have our annual block party. Ashley, can you tell me, is that at 5 o'clock when that starts?
Yes.
So 5 o'clock Thursday night, we have our annual block party. This is located right here. You go out from the fountain of the courthouse down Hand Avenue that way, and it's in between Hand Avenue and the railroad tracks. And it's a fun time for family and friends to gather. We're hoping for good weather. Last year was kind of touchy, so this year, hopefully for another good turnout there. And just stay tuned for events and festivities that will be happening throughout the holiday seasons with all your local chambers, because I'm sure something's going to be going on. So with that, commissioners, do y'all have anything else? Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
I'll second the motion.
You got a motion by Commissioner Underwood, second by Commissioner Gruber to adjourn this meeting. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All right, aye. This meeting will be adjourned at 9:37.